Alright folks, doing a quick video here on the two rifles I intend to cover next, and that is my Winchester model 1894 lever action Winchester 22 Magnum and my Argentine Mauser 1909 7.65 by 53 millimeter Mauser bolt action that's been sporterized. I intend to do two closer look videos on these two rifles. For those of you who are new to the channel or haven't been around that long, I do have two previous closer look videos that you guys should go check out. One is on the CZ 452 2EZKM 22 bolt action rifle, and the other is on the Winchester Model 70 Pre-64 and 220 Swift. Now, I did both of those videos quite a long time ago. I think I did the Model 70 video about 5 years ago. And then, if I remember correctly, I did the one on the CZ 22 452. I did that about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. They weren't very far apart from each other, about a year difference between the two videos. But then I kind of went on to doing other things, and I hadn't really, got around to, thinking of other old type guns to do closer look videos on. So I've decided to do closer look videos on these two rifles because both these rifles in particular on my channel have gained a lot of popularity in videos that I've done. I have a video on the Mauser that's over 3,000 views, I think, and then I've got 14,000 views on this one, I do believe, on a video. So I figured it was time to do closer look videos on these two because they're both old guns. And, the criteria for doing a closer look video on my channel is like when I go on to a deeper detail of a firearm is if it's like an old style gun, like a lever action or a Mauser. And it has, I have a video of it that's got over maybe 2,000 views or so. And that's the criteria that it meets. Like, I got my M1A, for example, and the M1A M14 is an older style rifle, but the reason I haven't done a closer look video on it is because the current one that I have is a synthetic model. But if I get a woodstock M1A, like a standard M1A, for example, with a woodstock, I would probably more than likely do a closer look video on it after I did a few videos on the new woodstock one, simply because the videos I have of my loaded, I have several videos of my M1A loaded that have over 1,000 views. So, if I get a woodstock M1A, I would probably do a closer look video on that rifle, even though the loaded one that I've got that's synthetic and painted is the one that has the most views on it. That's just kind of how I do my, closer look series. Like, say, for example, if I had an AR-15, like my AR-15, my DPMS Oracle, it's got a video that has over 3,000 views on it, but if I get like an M16A1 clone from Vietnam, I'd probably do a closer look video on the M16. That's just the way I kind of like to do it. And then I'd have like information written down, going over the history and stuff, and then, like, for example, with the M1A and the AR, I'd have like the loaded and the Oracle in the video as well, along with the new one that's like got woodstock with like the M1A, or is like the older Vietnam style M16. But that's how I do things. I figured I'd just explain that real quick for those of you who, do not know the premise of those videos, because it has been a very long time since I've done a closer look video. It was just something that I did for those initial 2 rifles, and then decided not to, well, I just didn't get around to, doing it with these 2. So I'm making this standalone video because I have said I've been wanting to do a closer look video at this one for quite some time now. And then I always end up forgetting. Half the time I can't even remember I've got this gun because 22 Magnum is so rare around here. And after the pandemic blew through, 22 Magnum is basically non-existent. I haven't shot this rifle a whole lot. I mean, I have and I haven't. And the time that I've owned my channel, I've only had this rifle on video maybe a total of like 5 times or less. Because 22 Magnum, anytime I go to the store, even before the pandemic, my first instinct was to always buy 22 long rifle. And, 22 Magnum just kind of fell on the back burner. And the 7.65 by 53, before I got the M1A and the AR, this was my go-to plinker because of the copious amounts of surplus 7.65 by 53 ammo that I have. Well, had. I've still got a lot, but over the years, my surplus supply for this bad boy has dwindled. And it became kind of, it wouldn't be uncommon for me over the summer in years past to just grab this rifle up and grab a couple 100 rounds of 7.65 and go plinking for an afternoon with my buddies. But when I bought the M1A and the AR-15, this dude kind of fell on the back burner because, with the M1A, 308's cheaper. I mean, it isn't now, but back in the day before all this nonsense started, you could buy 308 for a lot cheaper than, almost $30. And it was more common. So, the 7.65 kind of fell into, not really the safe queen category, but, I just didn't get it out and shoot it that much anymore after I bought the more modern guns like the M1A and the AR-15, my DPMS Oracle. And to add to it too, the 7.65 by 53 surplus I have on hand, if you shoot a lot of that through my Mauser, through my 1909, if you do not get on its ass later that night and start cleaning it, it will rust the barrel. And that became a hassle too, because then it became like, oh, well, I like plinking with this gun, and I still do. And I won't plink with it some more, but, that started weighing on your mind. You're like, well, if I take the M1A and shoot, a couple dozen 308s through it, I don't have to be as, on the ball when I get home to clean it like I do my 1909. And that kind of started playing into it too, because, you'd get this dude home and you'd have to basically strip him down and start working on him immediately. Whereas the M1A, you could kind of, you could run a few patches through it, through the barrel, wipe off like the gas piston and stuff, and put him back in the safe and not really have to worry, because, a few patches through the bore and some oil in the barrel, and it's okay for, until you get it out the next time. But this dude, you run that surplus through it, even if you do run a few patches through, that barrel will start rusting because of the corrosive ammo, the corrosive surplus that I've got for it. And that started playing in. Because, so this one, after you plink with it with the surplus corrosive, you basically have to get it back home and get it down to the bare metal like that night, or you're in trouble. So that started playing into it. But, I just figured I'd talk about these two a little bit right here before I do my main video on both of them. I love both of them. I still enjoy shooting both of them. But, with with 22 Magnum being almost non-existent now for the model 1894, and 7.65 by 53 being also as hard to find, you know, commercial wise. And not to mention the stuff I do have on hand for it is corrosive, and then reloading for it, you can't. I mean, I can go planking with the reloads, but the bullet it shoots, this 303 caliber. Here, let me bring the phone down. 303 cal, .312 diameter, 150 grain slap point bullets. Them dudes are expensive. So loading back all this brass. See, I do have brass for reloading for it, but to load all that back up, and then to, you know, keep buying them bullets and stuff, that gets expensive. More expensive than like the 308, and far more expensive than 223. So, you know, there will be more videos of these two in the future, as I do intend to keep shooting them, and they will not be in safe queen status for all time. But here as of late, I have not shot them as much, but I do intend to make a closer look video on both of them. So those are coming. I have to write down some notes. I think what I'll do is I'll start with the 1894 first, do it first, and then do the 7.65 Mauser. And there'll probably be some videos, you know, before those. Me and my dad are going to start reloading 9mm again soon. I've still got these 308s I need to reload. But the, you know, the closer look videos will be getting done on these two. So till then, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.